Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Thursday, January 16th, and we are again in the final hour of the trading day. I mention this each day, but in my opinion, the most valid prices of the day are the prices as close as you can get them to the close of the market. During the day, you have the algorithms and the day traders. They're battling it out. I consider it a lot of noise. At the end of the day, the large financial institutions, the market makers, they come in with size and they take control of the market and they move it towards the end of the day and into the close to where they think the most valid prices are, vis-a-vis them coming in with size and making their decisions on which way they think it's going to go. So that is why I am primarily an end of day trader. I just wait till the end of the day, the last few minutes before the market closes, and I just ride the coattails of the large financial institutions. So anyway, big day up today. This market just keeps on going. Dow Jones is up 187 points, up about 0.65%. NASDAQ's up 68 points, about 0.75%, and the S&P is up 19 points, up 0.58%. So this is the strongest bull market I have seen in years. Usually you have up and down, you have give and take, but this is just a one-way train. So it's an interesting time to be in the markets right now. Christopher Hitchin, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Hope you're having a nice evening. Hey, Dirk, good to see you. Thanks for coming back. Nice to have you here today. Roman Ray, good day from LA. Good day from Utah. How you doing, Roman? Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. So I'm a little under the weather today. I felt myself getting a little sick yesterday during the podcast at the end, and then I was in bed a lot of the day and woke up feeling a little weird this morning. So hopefully I'll make it through. So all right, well, excuse me. The plan for today, first of all, we're going to go ahead and run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back. We're going to take a look at my current positions. We're going to talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them going forward. Then we're going to look at some of your trades. Some of you have been nice enough to share your trades with me. I have them up on the board, so we'll go through those one by one, take a look, and see how you're doing and how you're going to manage your trades. After that, I'm going to do a few minutes on trader psychology. I mention this every day, but trader psychology is the most important skill that you can develop in trading. You can be the best technician, the best chartist in the world, and you can put together the best trading plan in the world, but if you can't follow it, it's all for naught. So my suggestion is that you work on your discipline and following your plan. That would be the number one priority, actually. If I could give you my best advice, you can do that by reducing your position size. That will make it easier to follow your plan because you don't have so much on the line. And also, you might want to get a family member, husband, wife, friend, whatever, and explain to them what you're doing, explain to them the trades that you have, and if you have somebody looking over your shoulder or somebody you have to be accountable to, I think it's going to improve your trading. I really and honestly and truly do. I did it in 2018. I hired a friend of mine, coached him up on trading, coached him up on my rules, and during the last hour of the market, we shared Skype, and he said, you can't do that. Oh, you got to get out, right? I mean, I do it anyway, but I know that my biggest enemy, the biggest risk I have is me, right? Is not following my plan. So it was a great investment, especially because 2018 was so brutal, especially during the fourth quarter. So anyway, just a suggestion there. After that, we're going to go through my watch list. We're going to take a look at each stock. We're going to take a look at support, resistance levels, indicators. And my philosophy on trading is, in order to put yourself in a position to have the best chance to have a profitable trade, you need to be with as many groups, as many buyers as possible, many groups of buyers as possible. And I look at indicators as potential groups of buyers. So if if your best chance of having a profitable trade is being with a lot of group of buyers, you want to look for a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up. Or another way to say it, look for a combination of different groups of buyers. So that's what I look for, confluence or a combination of indicators lining up, or another way to say it, different groups of buyers lining up together. So I'm going to go through the watch list, going to look at support, resistance levels, look for this combination of indicators lining up. That's step one. Step two, make sure I have a good risk to reward ratio. I need to have at least 2 times the reward compared to the risk based upon the resistance above me, legitimate resistance above me, and my stop loss. So if I'm risking $100 on a trade, I want to be able to at least make $200 or more. And then step number 3, or requirement number 3, have to make sure that the current positions I have are well diversified. I don't have too much concentration in any one industry. And ideally, I like to have other things like gold or silver or oil or bonds if I get a trigger, or if I get a signal for them to even further diversify my position. So step 1, look for a combination of confluence of indicators and or different groups of buyers. Step 2, make sure you have a good risk to reward ratio. Step 3, make sure you're not too highly correlated in any one position. So I'll go through there. If I find something that meet all 3 of those requirements, I'll go ahead and make the entry at the end of the day. Then when the market closes, if anybody has any questions whatsoever, please let me know. I'm happy to clarify. If you'd like me to take a look at any stock symbols, very happy to do that. If you have a stock symbol that you would like me to look at before the market closes, if you think it would be helpful for the group, please let me know. Maybe put a star in the chat by it so I know that it's time sensitive. And that's the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and run the U.S. legal disclaimer. I'll be back in about 40 seconds. So if you could please hold tight, I'll be right back. Thanks so much. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. Okie dokie, we are back. So, all right, let's take a look here. Hey, Dr. Long's here. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming by. Zach1662. Hello, Zach. Thanks for coming back. Nice to see you. If you have any questions today, let me know. Christopher Hitchin says, Walgreens Boots Alliance 3 ATR and now leveling off nicely. Volume lowered too. It looks like it's going to bounce off the 100-day. Anybody have the symbol for Walgreens? We can take a look at that. Scatley13, greetings from North Carolina. Good to see you. Thank you. Did I say that right? Scatty13. Appreciate you coming by. I haven't seen you before, so nice to have you here. If you have any questions, let me know. Aman Solo, hello, Greg and gang. Good to be back after being AWOL earlier this week. Good to have you, Aman Solo, and I got your email. Put your trades on the board. I'll tell you what, Aman Solo, guys, whoo, boy, he's got some trades. I'm going to show them to you. Dr. Long says UAL was a good one. Was it? Let's take a look. Yeah, it was. I remember you mentioned that. With the close over the 200. I didn't like this price action, but it doesn't care what I like, and it went up. Very nice. Kurt, hey buddy, good to see you. I hope you're feeling well. I know Kurt had the flu, and I think he gave it to me from his email. I'm just kidding. Kurt says, hey Greg, made it in. Thanks for the email and ideas. I hope you feel better hopefully soon. Hopefully it's not the flu. I hope not. I hope not. I felt it coming on yesterday, actually right during the podcast. So we'll see what happens. Dr. Long says, just missed selling some, definitely early on VXX. These are the stops. These are the stops. I bought them most too early. Monthly expiration tomorrow. Yep. Well, I have VIX as well. Took a quarter position down today. It looks like I'm going to have to exit. Hey, Marco, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a nice evening there in Slovenia. Appreciate you coming. Nice to see you as always. If there's anything I can help you with, please let me know. Troy Webb. Hey, nice to see you, Troy. Thank you for coming by. Let's see. WBA. That is. Yeah, well, it's making a base here. Was under the 200, back over the 200. Under the 30 RSI right now at the moment. That might be something to look at the end of the day. If it can close back over the 30 RSI, but I mean, even here it would give you good risk reward, but still the sellers have been strong enough that it's been able to keep it under the 30 RSI, which is a little bit bearish. So I mean, if it could pop up, have a bounce off that 200, reject the third ATR channel, reject the 200, that would be good. So we'll watch that for sure. But thank you, Troy. I appreciate that. Nice to have you here. Zach says, I purchased the Steve Burns book you recommended yesterday, by the way. Excited to start getting into it. I'll tell you what, Zach, that book made a big difference in my trading. Big difference. I don't know how many times I've read it, but tons. Trying to take it all in, internalize it all in. And so, yeah, I'm glad you read that. Read it a few times. Christopher Hitchens says, AT&T looks like it's going to bounce off the 100-day. Is it? Where's the 100-day? Oh, down there a ways still. You know, one of the best confluence of signals, everyone, is if you can get a confluence of a dip down to the 100-day at the same time you have a 30 RSI. That's one of my deep dip buys, is looking for a confluence of a move down to the 100-day and also at the 30 RSI. So that would be an interesting confluence of signals right there. Yeah, AT&T is T, right? Yeah. Hey, Gamer Squad, good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Hope you're having a good day. Hey, Steve Burns, good to see you, my friend. How about that, Zach? You bought his book, and we say his name, and he appears. Thank you so much for coming, Steve. Always an honor to have you here, my friend. Really is. Of course, you know that, and I'm always excited to see you. I know everyone else is. And be able to rub shoulders with Steve in the live chat is a real nice thing. So thank you so much for coming. I think Steve's flat at the moment. Is that correct, Steve? Aman Solo, WBA, our second bounces off a MA typically better bets. I think they're better if they have a double bottom with a bearish divergence, and if it's a higher low, then yes, but I think as Steve would tell you, the more times that you knock on a moving average, the more likely it's going to break it and go underneath it. So I don't think I can give you just a straight answer on that. But if it's, if it goes down to the 200, bounces up, comes back down, then has a double bottom with a bullish divergence, then yes, for sure. Okie dokie. So, well, let's get to it here. All right, so if you guys remember yesterday, and girls, I did take Disney on the 14th. We had a great setup. I mean, everything considered. We had a beautiful V1. Here's day one, day two. Day two washes out day one, closes above day one's close. Washed out this previous low, making this a false breakout to the downside. Previous day we were under the 50-day moving average, back over the 50-day moving average. So this was a great confluence of signals, but as we know, even if you have the best setup in the world, it does not mean it's going to go up, right? I think it puts yourself in a better position probability wise, but it doesn't mean it's going to go up. Halfway of this bar was my stop. And the reason why is when you have a bar that's larger than 1 ATR, a move back down to the 50% should have some technical kind of support from a 50% Fibonacci standpoint. My plan was I had to get out of Disney if we closed under halfway of this bar, 1447. I don't know what happened yesterday. I think it was because I wasn't feeling well, but I got distracted and I let time get away from me, and I should have closed out my position here. But time slipped away, market closed before I knew it, and so my plan was this morning, if it opened up underneath my stop, I was going to go ahead, just sell it right there and right then. If it closed above, I was going to hold it and just trade it as normal, using this as my stop again. We gapped up, we came down, we bounced right off of that support, showing, there generally is some support at that 50%, and then up. Did hit one profit target today, so definitely grateful for that, but this was one of those mistakes that went my way so far. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? But did hit one profit target, up 0.4% today, so that was just one of those mistakes that happens and happened to go my way. So those things will happen to you, but glad that it was a mistake that went my way. So as long as it holds the 50% of this halfway bar, I am going to hold this. Excuse me. All right, so S&P. I know I mention this each day, but in case we have some new viewers, I do want them to understand why I trade this each day, but I do buy the SPY each day at the close of the market. I sell it first thing the next morning. It has nothing to do with technicals, indicators, anything. It has to do with a long-term back-tested study from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest. This back test was started in 1993. You have two options here. Option number one that they tested was buying the SPY at the open each day, selling it at the close each day. So buy at the open, sell the close, buy the open, sell the close. If you would have used this approach every day since 1993, you'd have returned a negative 13.9% return for all your troubles. However, if you did the opposite, which is what I do, and buy the SPY at the close each day, sell it the next morning, so buy the close, sell the next morning, buy the close, sell the next morning, you'd have returned a positive 634.2% return. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. We know that. Of course, that goes for any trading approach, but I love this chart. It shows you what your equity curve can look like if you have an actual edge in the way you trade. Doesn't go straight up. There's ups and downs and pullbacks and all sorts of stuff, but that's just normal. That's normal random distribution. But you can see the blue line is the buy in the afternoon, sell in the morning. The orange line is the buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon. You can see the buy in the afternoon, sell the morning is has much better results. I've been using this since February 26th of 2018, and it's been a very good trading approach and been very profitable. So with that being said, I did buy the SPY at the close yesterday at 328.19, and I sold it for a nice profit this morning for 329.67. Isn't that nice? So excuse me. So that's that. Yeah, it was a nice overnight trade. People ask, are you a day trader? I'm saying, no, I'm an overnight trader, because this is exactly what this approach is an overnight trade. So I will be buying this again today at the end of the market and selling it first thing tomorrow morning. Steve Burns says, I am now flat. All I had was the 1.5 gain overnight on UPro-Trade. So Steve is using the UPro, which is 3 times the same approach that I'm using here, but he's using 3 times leverage. So if it goes up, he's going to make 3 times as more as I do. If it goes down, of course, he'll lose 3 times as more. So, but both the UPro trade overnight, the SSO trade, which is a double leverage overnight, and the SPY trade all back test very, very well. Okay, so I'll be buying the SPY at the end of the day. Okay, the VIX. I did buy the VIX a couple days ago when it bounced off the negative third ATR channel and then closed back above. Just because this happens doesn't mean it's going to go up, but it does give me a good risk to reward ratio. Yesterday it was down a little bit, but still stayed above the 30 RSI. Today we were at 28.38, so looks like I am going to have to go get out of this and take a loss. I only bought a quarter of the position in this because this has such outside moves. So it's down 2%, but I took a quarter position. So, you know, approximately it's like I'm down 0.5% on this particular trade. So unless we have some miracle and this closes back above 30, I will go ahead and just get out of this, take the small loss. Let's see. Utilities. So this has been a really nice trade. I did buy the utilities back here on the 9th of January. The reason I bought it, we were above the 1 ATR channel. I don't like to buy up here. I wanted to come back into the value zone. The value zone is this green line and this green line, the 1 ATR, the negative 1 ATR. We came back in, bounced up, made a lower high. If I make a lower high, I have to wait for it to wash out the previous low. That's what I did. Then it moved nicely sideways, consolidated. This is a very important part of V1s, V2s with return to value trades back in the value zone. It moved sideways. My trigger to get into the trade was here. The reason I took it 2 days ago, we made a high. The next day we went up higher and then closed lower. That is a bearish signal. But if you can get a bearish signal followed by a positive signal, then that becomes bullish. So if you have a really bearish signal that immediately gets reversed by a bullish signal, I consider that bullish. I did buy it here at 64.22, and you can see this has been a great trade so far. Did hit one profit target up here today already, 66.14, very close to hitting that second profit target. We'll see what happens. It's above the 70 RSI. It's gone parabolic, which is great. If it continues to move up, I'll just continue to phase out of the trade. If it closes below the 70 RSI, that will be my signal to take profits on the trade. So anyway, really nice trade on that. So not bad, 3 for 4 today. Disney up. Nice overnight SPY trade, VIX down, and XLU up. So that's what we got. All right, let's take a look over here. A man solo sent me this trade, updated me on a couple trades. He did buy RNST back on the 13th of January. We had the under 200, over 200. We also had a V2. Here's day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 2 goes below day 1. Day 3 closes above day 1. That was his entry. Closed back below the 200. Most likely would have been his stop. Look at this beautiful trade he's had. Very nice amount solo. You know, if I took this trade right now, it's strong enough to break through the 50 RSI, which is great. If it closed below the 50 RSI, that's where I would take my profits. So very nice amount solo. Here's another trade amount solo took. We went under 30, over 30. This is on EPC. We went under 30, over 30. We were below the negative third ATR channel, above the third ATR channel. He bought it here at 26.68. And look at this. Beautiful trade, up 1.4% today. Let's see. Did it reject the 50 RSI? I think it did. Yeah, it did. So, you know, the way I trade, of course, I'm not telling them on solo what to do, but the way I trade, if I would have bought this trade and it rejected the 50, that would be my exit signal, my signal to lock in profits. But right now it's at a 47.32, but it was above 50 earlier. You know, I play from the 30 RSI to the 50 RSI. If it can break through the 50, then my next resistance is a 70. So that's where I play. But if it goes from the 30 to the 50 and rejects the 50, then I'm going to get out. If I get it at the 50 and it rejects the 70, that's where I'm going to get out. One more from Mount Solo. Look at this, everybody. So we had this nice trade here, under the 200, over the 200, and he got this here at, no. I think it was back. Yeah, it was here. Okay. 22.40 is where he bought it. And look at this beautiful day here. Same thing. If it rejected 50 RSI, that's where I would lock in profits. But fantastic trades, man. Solo. Unbelievable. It's just really great. Bing He took a trade back here, under 30, over 30, near the third ATR channel. Moved up, moved down, up today. slightly, but well off of its high. So that's a really nice trade. Really glad to see Bing He with these great trades lately. He has had some really, really nice trades. Bing He also took this trade back here on the 14th. V1, rejection of the 200-day, rejection of the negative third ATR channel. Up earlier today, but it is still holding the 30 RSI and the 200-day moving average. If this was my trade, I'd get out if we lost the 30 RSI or the 200. Bing He, look at this beauty. Under the 200, over the 200, giving himself a good risk to reward ratio. He doesn't know it's going to go up, but he does put himself in a position where if it does go up, he can be patient with it, let it go up. If it closed below the 200, he could get out quickly for a small loss. And that's the key to profitable trading. You know, take a small loss if you're wrong, be patient, let it run if you're right. Right now it's at a 54.14 RSI, so if I was in this trade, I closed below the 50 RSI, I would get out. Gamer Squad took Roku back on the 13th. Nice V1, back in the value zone. It held, then it came down yesterday. Today, it is down a little bit. If I were trading this, I would get out if it closed below the halfway of the washout bar, and you can see that's right where it is. That's right where it's holding support. So I hope that holds support for you, Gamer and Dave. And that's it. That is it. Okay. Steve says the more time support or resistance is tested, the greater the odds that it breaks or a swing or trends or changes. Yeah, yep, that's what I thought. Christopher says I bought Steve option course for greater understanding. Oh, very good. That's a great book as well. He has an options book. Mount Doji says APPS is my favorite today. Yeah, that's pretty good. Beautiful V2 here. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 2 washes out day 1, day 3 closes above day 1's close. Looks like currently we're above the 50 RSI. MACD is positive. Let's look at the monthly. Monthly is an uptrend. Oh, this is a nice setup here. From a triple screen perspective. Triple screen means the longest term time frame, for me, monthly, is in an uptrend. Weekly has pulled back into the value zone, which is completely normal, and then look to trade on the daily, and MACD is positive. Have a nice V2. Very good. I like that a lot. Let me know if you take that, Mount Doji. Kurt says I gave it to you. I don't think I can catch it through email, but hopefully it doesn't develop into a full flu. Mount Doji says, would love to hear your thoughts on RDI. Well, here we were above the 1 ATR channel. We came back into the value zone. We've made a lower high. Remember, if we make a lower high, the way I trade, I have to wash out this previous low. Yeah, it is a V2, but it's a V2 with the gap. See how it made the V2 with the gap larger than 1/4 ATR. So I like your first one a lot better. Hey, Kamal, nice to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming by. Let's see, WFC. Yeah, this is one of those tricky ones because we did nicely reject the 200-day, but we are at a 2771 RSI. Now, could you take this? Sure, you could take it. Just keep in mind, though, you're most likely going to have some kind of resistance above you, probably at the 30 RSI. The 30 RSI tomorrow would be about right here. So when you're under the 30, you are most likely going to find resistance at the 30. Does that make sense, Kamal? It doesn't mean it has to, but you know, does it offer you a good risk to reward? Honestly, I'm not sure right here because, I mean, if it goes up to the 50 RSI, yes, it does. But the way I have to view this is I would have to view the 30 RSI acting as resistance above you. So from that perspective, it doesn't give you a good risk to reward. And you're still under 30, meaning that even all the buyers with 30 RSI still couldn't hold it up. I mean, obviously, it's rallying nice today. Let's look at the weekly. Ooh, boy, that is ugly. That's going to be a lot of resistance, a lot of people that want to sell if it gets back up there. So personally, I probably wouldn't take this trade. Risk to reward is extremely favorable in VIX for me. I really have to buy these stops. Well, you know, the thing about the VIX, I mean, it goes down, 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 but when it goes up big. Hey, Frank. Frank says a poem. Ah, my favorite time. Frank has the best poem. So let me add this here. Frank's poem, my opinion is none of my business. Though a thought be sincere, in trades it can interfere. So do well with the money in the stocks that you bought, but don't add a penny for your thoughts. How awesome is that? My opinion is none of my business. Though a thought be sincere, in trades it can interfere. So do well with the money in the stocks. So do well with the money in the stocks that you bought, but don't add a penny for your thoughts. So true. Not only are these great poems, they're really, really true. Thank you so much, Frank. I'll share that if it's okay with you. Okay, so listen. This is the time of the day that I do like to talk about trader psychology. There's some really good Twitter and Facebook pages out there. They're nice enough to post good trading words of wisdom to help us each day. One of the best ones out there is my friend Thomas Payne at Trader T Payne on Twitter. If you have not subscribed, I would really suggest it. Thomas says, Isaac Newton is one of the smartest men in history. He cashed out of a stock with impressive gains. FOMO got him back in. FOMO is fear of missing out. FOMO got him back in. He stubbornly held as it crashed. His response, I can calculate the motions of the heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people. So I thought that was appropriate for what's going on right now in the markets. One of the smartest men in history, but he still couldn't figure out the markets. So, you know, that's worth thinking about. And so to be this, you know, the smart way to approach these markets is wait for your setups, take your setups when they come, if they're valid. But if you're wrong, get out quick. And if you're right, be patient, right? I mean, he stubbornly held as it crashed. So he did not get out quick when he should have. Just that one small little thing, you know, in his mind, he's a smart guy. For some reason, he probably thought, no, it's got to go back up, but it didn't. So even someone like Isaac Newton can have that problem. So just make sure, unless you think you're smarter than Isaac Newton, you know, just if you're wrong, when your stop comes, just get on out, and then you won't have to go through what Isaac Newton did. Okie dokie. Let me take a little look-see here. Whew. Boy, I'm already exhausted. Tony Webb said, is Steve doing the same trade with UPRO? Yes, he is. 100% yes, he is. And it does back test well. It's just, remember now, it's 3 times more movement, either profit or loss. So keep that in mind. Mantochi says, I want to do the same with UPRO now. LOL. Man Solo says, regarding EPC, I'll exit half the position if it rejects and closes below the 50. Okay, sounds like a plan. Right now it is under. Christopher Hitchens says, is apps digital turbines? That I don't know. Hey, Bing He, good to see you. Bing He says, took profits for TSE. Does that mean you took partial profits or you're out of the position? And ACCO. Managed to keep TGI. Grateful for that. Okay, so it does look like you got out of TSE. Yeah, I should know that because Bing He is one entry, one exity. Okay. And then keeping TGI. Okay, sounds good. Regarding apps, probably close to resistance from halfway back on the trigger, large bar a few days back. Probably close to resistance from halfway of the large bar. That is true. You know, whenever you have a really, really large bar, big down bar, look off into the future and you're probably going to have some kind of resistance if it gets back to halfway. See the big bar down? We've rallied, but I would imagine it would have some resistance here. And look at this. You also have a confluence here of the 50-day moving average as well. Oh, Kurt is in Berkshire Hathaway. Very nice. Looks like you took that V1. Really nice. Great. Let's see. BRKB. As of yesterday's close. How much time we got? I better get moving. Darn it. As of yesterday's close. So let's get this in here for Kurt. All right. Oh, that was yesterday. That looks better, right, Kurt? Okay. Hey, Murat, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming by. Hope you have a nice day. Hoping you're having a nice night in Norway. Bing He out of TSE and ACCO. Great trades, Bing He. So glad, so happy for you to see these trades start coming together for you. That's great. Okay, well, let's quickly go down through the list here. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. Because as you know, a lot of these are way out of my buying range. So Apple up almost 3 points today. I need to pull back into value. Remember, anything over the 1 ATR channel, I generally do not take. I consider anything over the 1 ATR channel to be overvalued. I want to buy in value. I consider between this green line and this green line the value zone. So anything in here, value, anything above value, anything below value. So I want to buy minimum at value or below value. Adobe rejected the third ATR channel. Want to see this pull back into the value before I can get interested. Amazon up 13 points. Been a bit of a laggard at Amazon. What I'm waiting for, see the big up bar? Remember, just like a man Solo said, if you have a big down bar, you should have resistance at the halfway. With a big up bar, you should have support at the halfway. And look where the support dovetails right with the 200-day in the value zone. Right here, in my opinion, would be the sweet spot for Amazon if I got a proper trigger. So I just have to be patient, wait for that. Boeing up nicely today to up $2.61. There's really nothing here for me to buy. Berkshire Hathaway, glad to see that moving up for Kurt. Congratulations. Be on the lookout for the 70 RSI. Beyond Meat up a little bit today. Unbelievably fantastic trade by our friend Steve Burns. He took the 520 EMA crossover right here. And look at this. I think he had a 38% move in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So congratulations. I'm still blown away by that trade. I'm still blown away by this move. I unfortunately, and this is how it happens, you know, I can't buy up here at the third ATR channel. Those are just my rules. Sometimes they work out for me, sometimes they don't, but they are my rules. So I had to pass on this trade. But boy, this is the one. If I were to break my rule, that would have been the one, right? So congratulations to Steve on that. Caterpillar. Okay, so looks like we have a V2 here. Here's day one, day two, day three. Day two washes out day one, day three closing above day one. But do you see the gap from yesterday's close to today's open? That invalidates this V2 for me. I can't take it because of this large gap. If it's more than a quarter ATR, from here to here is an ATR. If it's more than a quarter ATR, which this is, then it invalidates the trade for me, because the market likes to fill gaps. It's a vacuum. So will it come back down here and fill it? I don't know. But as far as my rules are concerned, I can't buy this. Dow Jones, very, very strong. It's a 71 RSI. I need to wait for a pullback. How's our Walt Disney doing? Pretty good. So that was a mistake that worked out. I was supposed to get out of this yesterday. I missed it at the end of the day. This morning it gapped up. I said, okay, if it gaps up, I'll keep it and trade it as normal. If it opens below my stop, then I will just immediately go ahead and get out, and did hit one profit target today. Etsy still very strong. Man, this thing keeps on trucking. Too high for me here. It's a 74 SI. I need to pull back into the value zone in order to get interested. Facebook, too high. Above the third ATR channel, doesn't offer me a good risk reward. I'd like to buy it right back down here in the value zone, right back down in here in this support. Gold went on that big run. Nothing here right now. Still too high for me here. Need to pull back into the value zone, have the 5 cross under the 20 and back over. I did buy that 520 crossover right back here when the 5 crossed over the 20 inside the value zone, and this was a great trade. Wrote it from here, scaled out all the way up to here, but nothing yet there. Google, of course, up. Too high for me up here. I need to wait for a pullback. If it's ever going to come, I don't know. But, I mean, in all reality, it will come. We just don't know. Goldman Sachs, big, strong day. Almost an 80 RSI. I need to wait for it to come back into the value zone. Home Depot, big, strong day. 65 RSI. Has the third ATR channel above it. Have to wait for a pullback. IBB, up a little bit today. Looks like it's rejected the 1 ATR channel. Nothing here for me. Intel. So we were above the 1 ATR channel. We came back into the value zone. We made a lower high. So when I have a lower high, I have to wash out the previous low, and it has not washed out this previous low. It's a V2 today. Day one, day two, day three. Day two washes out day one. Looks like today's going to close above day one, but again, we have a gap here. But I wouldn't, even if it wasn't a gap, I wouldn't take it because I needed to wash out the previous low. Russell 2000, huge day up today. Unbelievable. Look at this, everybody. That is something, huh? Too high, need a pullback. Johnson & Johnson, looks like it might break over this previous high here. Nothing there, need a pullback. CarMax, I know Steve and Alan had a nice trade back here on CarMax. This has moved up. We're above the 1 ATR channel. Need to wait for a pullback into the value zone. That's what I would be looking for. Coca-Cola, up a little bit more today. This has really moved up. See how we were above the 1 ATR channel, but we came into the value zone, moved sideways. This is exactly what I was looking for, but unfortunately, I did not get a trigger. Lockheed Martin up today. Looks like it's breaking out to a new high, just too high. MasterCard, new high. Need to pull back into the value zone. McDonald's, same thing. Need to pull back into the value zone. Merck, V1 to the downside. You know, we talk about these these green triangles. Here we have a high. Then we have a V1 to the downside. This is bearish. However, tomorrow, if we could get above this first day's high, it would go from bearish to bullish. This is exactly the same kind of signal that I used on XLU that we've had a good trade on. Microsoft, whew, boy, look at that baby go. Too high, need a pullback. Netflix down a little bit today, a little red. So come down a little further into the value zone, move sideways. We do have earnings coming up. Nike up a little today. Look for a pullback. Philip Morris up a little. Need a pullback into the value zone. PayPal. Now, who had PayPal? I can't remember now off the top of my head. But this was a nice trade. Back, I mean, it closed above the 200, held the 200, and it moved nicely. It looks like it rejected the 70 RSI today. If I was in this trade personally, I would get out with the close if it was above 70 and closed underneath. Qs just going to the moon, need a pullback. Silver had this big move up back into the value zone. I just need it to move sideways for a little bit in the value zone, look for a V1, V2, or the 5 EMA crossing under the 20 and then back over. This is the same trade that I took here when the 5 crossed over the 20, and this was a beautiful trade. Straight up, I ran out of shares right up there. S&P 500, of course, we had the nice overnight SPY trade, 73 RSI. Need to buy this at the end of the day. Bonds rejected that previous high, would need a pullback. Tesla down today, but well off of its lows. Boy, this has been such a move. But for me, I need to pull back into the value zone. Twitter, big strong day, huge strong day. Again, pull back into the value zone. United Healthcare had nice earnings, moved up. Can't do anything with that. Oil did bounce off the 200 yesterday and has moved up a little today. Did reject the 50 RSI, so nothing there. VIX did buy that back here at 1367. It's 1330. Looks like it's going to close below the 30 RSI. I'm going to have to sell this today. Verizon had a nice big jump off of the 100-day moving average. Did reject the 50 RSI, so I won't take it there. Walmart has been really weak. Really, really weak. In sympathy probably with Target, so nothing here. Energy Select, how are we doing on time? Just moving sideways, nothing there. Financials, boy, that's been all over the place, hasn't it? Looks like we have a V2, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 2 washes out, day 1, day 3 closes above day 1, but no sideways movement, and we had this gap. Real estate, just one-way move to the upside, have to wait for a pullback. Utilities, of course, we bought this return to value, sideways movement, then the trigger. This has been a really nice trade. Did hit 1 profit target, close to hitting 2 profit targets. But again, if this closes below 70 RSI, I will go ahead and get out. And then healthcare. So again, I don't see any trades. So this is just one of these markets where, you know, everything's so extended, and the filters that I use just does not let me allow me to take any trades. But you know, I'll tell you one thing. You know, the market goes up with the by the stairs and comes down by the elevator. So you know, we've had this monster move up, but you know, this is just my opinion. But if we do have a sell-off, you know, it could wipe out 3, 4, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks, maybe in 1 or 2 days. So that's why I am not buying up here. I don't think that the market is going to crash. Most likely it's going to continue to go up, but I have to go into it with it. It's not offering me a good risk to reward ratio. So I'm going to have to just keep what I have. So Disney, buy the SPY again at the end of the day. VIX, going to have to get out of that one, and XLU. So 3 of 4 today, not too bad, but I don't see any new trades for me today. Hey, Brian Schwartz, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Bing He says, due to my high commissions, I have factored in an extra 2% for computation of my risk to reward. I have to take very less trades now with such computation. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm glad to hear that, Bing He. I mean, I think we should always factor in things into our computations and take less trades. If you remember, one of my kind of New Year's resolutions, my trading resolutions, was that I was going to trade less in 2020 and be even more selective with my trades. So, cheers. Christopher says, cheers, Mount Doji. Mount Doji says, I'd like to hear your thoughts on MYOV. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I like this sideways movement here, Mount Doji. I like that we tagged the 50-day moving average, and then I like this V2. Here's day 1, day 2 washes out day 1, day 3 closes above day 1's close. Nothing wrong with that. As long as it closes above the 50 RSI, that would be my only concern. Gives you good risk to reward ratio, gives you the 50-day underneath. Yeah, I like that. Let's look at the monthly. See the big bar up? Might come back down to halfway. Got close to that. Weekly. Yeah, so it's just consolidating up here after this big move. Yeah, I like that. Murat says, Bing He, that is the good side of high commissions. You have to think twice before you enter your order. My commission is also especially high for stocks outside of Scandinavia. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. I mean, Murat's 100% right. If you have to be very selective with your trades because of commissions, you're going to make better trades. See, when in the United States, when we went to zero commissions, I don't know if it's, coincidence or what, but that's about when the market took off and went crazy. Pretty close. You guys remember? Because you can just make all sorts of crazy trades because you don't have to worry about the commissions. So I 100% agree, Murat. In the 60s, people used to code using punch cards. You coded a card, then it is compiled into a big machine. If you don't have error, then you could get your executable program. A man Solo says, Greg, looks like Disney will reject the 50 RSI. Wouldn't that be a sell signal? It's a good question, Amon Solo, but it had rejected the 50 on the day that I bought, but because of this, the big engulfing bar, the V1, the rejection, or the under the 50 moving average over the 50, and the false breakouts of the downside, I decided my plan going into it was the halfway bar was what I was going to use instead of the 50 RSI on this one, just because it had such a confluence of indicators. Is it the right plan? We'll find out, but you see how it rejected the 50% of this bar. That gives me some confidence that this 50 bar should hold because it just tested it today, but we'll see. But yes, normally you're 100% right. How are we doing on time? All right. Facebook dropping on news? Dirk, what was your buy price on Disney? My buy price on Disney was $145.22. So I'm down about 22 cents on the trade. Zach said, I have been reading a lot online about pins. Could you use that as an example on what would you be looking for? Let's see. Well, what I would be looking for on pins is it's just too extended. Here, it's above the third ATR channel. It's above the 70 RSI. I would have to wait all the way for it to at least come back down into the value zone for me to get involved. Intel, Intel, I talked about that one earlier. We came into the value zone. We made a lower high, but we have not washed out this low. So it is a V2. It's a V2 with the gap, and we didn't wash out this low. So that's why I cannot take this one. Accenture, okay, you have a V2, but day one is larger than 1 ATR, so that negates the trade for me. If it's larger than 1 ATR, yes, you did have a washout, but there's two things wrong. Day one is too large, and we had a gap to make the V2, so I wouldn't do anything with ACN personally. Troy says, it's crazy to see all the small orders on the tape now since free commissions. Yeah. I know. I just have a feeling that some of this craziness has to do with that. All right. So, looks very likely we're going to get out of VIX. Disney's hanging in there, which is good. SPY going to buy at the end of the day. And XLU Doing fine. All right, so I don't want to miss my, miss my exits today. So, whew, boy, I'm beat. Oh, and a Mount Solo and Mount Doji also had a little VIX here, unfortunately. So, looks like I'm definitely gonna have to get out of this here. So. Hey, John, nice to see you. Thanks for coming by. Let's look at BEN. Well, it's a higher low V2. Here's day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 2 washes out day 1, day 3 closing above day 1's close. Problem is I have the gap. The gap is what we have a gap in here larger than 1/4 ATR. So that would preclude me from taking this trade. And have we already rejected the 50 RSI up here? Pretty close, but not yet. But I mean, it's strong today, right? Definitely strong today. We kind of had this sidewards movement. It is a higher low V2, but me personally, I could not take it because of this gap. Again, the reason why is when you have these gaps, the market tends to want to come back down and test these gaps because it hasn't been tested. It was tested on this side, but not on this side. All right, Mount Doji's out of VIX. I think that is my clue to go ahead and get out of VIX as well. All right, VIX is out of there. Okay. Hey, Dr. Jorgensen, what's going on, bud? Dr. Jorgensen says, better have some chicken soup, favorite therapy for colds, etc. I agree. A cup of chicken soup sounds good now. Dr. Jorgensen is an actual doctor, so I will listen to him. Oh, Mount Doji's in apps. Okay. You have a price, Mount Doji? Oops. Whew. All right, if you have an actual price, let me know. Okay, so Disney's hanging in there. That's fine. SPY. Look at this thing go. Buy that at the end of the day. VIX we're out of. And what do we have? We have a few minutes left. So no new positions today other than the S&P. is it. All right, so I did buy the SPY at 330.92. So that's the new entry for tomorrow. Close right on its high. 330.92. Okie doke. Okay. $7.62. Good. All right, so we have Mount Doji bought that today. Kurt had a great day. He bought BRKB yesterday. Mansolo, really nice trade here. EPC, another great trade from a Mansolo. Another great trade from Mansolo. Binghe looks like he's keeping this. Roku for Gamer Squad for David looks like it did close above the halfway. And then WBA did not close above the 30 over there. So what happened with your AVYA trade, Mount Doji, to go up? I can't pull that one up. Oh, you're at a Roku. Okay. All right. Well, that one was a little loss, but a small loss. Whew. All right. So listen, if you have any questions, please let me know. If you'd like me to take a look at any other symbols, please let me know. Just going to put in my quick little daily plug. Let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I love to teach, had great success with my clients. I do offer a course, 5 sessions. Each session is somewhere between 2 and 3 hours. I do it in the evening time. We do it over Skype. It's a very involved class. Generally, I teach the first part of the class, and then the second part of the class, I ask questions. I have you teach it back to me. We go through a lot of charts. We do a lot of chart study. And, I think if you take the class, well, I don't think, I mean, I know if you take the class and you put the work in and you learn, I think you'll be able to have a good skill in trading the markets. I teach you everything I've learned over the last 24 years. I teach you everything that I've learned from my coaches and mentors, and then everything I've designed myself. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. You can send me an email. It's in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter. With potential students, what I do like to do is I like to have a half hour to an hour Skype call with them. It's totally free. I just want to get to know you a little bit better, learn more about your trading, your challenges, your goals. You can ask me any question that you want, but it's just to see if we're a good fit for each other, that Skype call. And there's no obligation, I promise you, whatsoever, and there's no pressure. But if you've been considering it, send me an email on Twitter, or in my email, which is in the description, and then also you can send me a message on Twitter, and we can arrange that initial Skype call. So, and then if you like today's podcast, if you find this channel helpful, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and also if you could hit the thumbs up button before you leave today, I would appreciate that. Helps grow the channel, helps build the channel. A lot of people out there need help with trading, and I think if we could get them to this channel, it would definitely help them. So if you could hit the thumbs up button, I would appreciate that for sure. All right. Woo, man, I'm on fumes today, everyone. So where did the market end up? 267 points. NASDAQ up 98.44 and S&P up 27. Wow. It just keeps on trucking, doesn't it? It just keeps on trucking. Murat says Google is now a $1 trillion market cap. Is that right? So Amazon or Google and Apple are $1 trillion. Unbelievable. Look at this run. Unbelievable. You know, it's rare that this happens, everyone. I do want to at least mention that this is rare. And going forward in your trading, don't think to yourself this always happens and like adjust your trading because this happened last time to think it will happen again. I mean, of course, we never know what's going to happen, but you know, there's an old saying, generals always fight the last war. They make their strategies based upon what happened recently. This is outside the norm, right? This is outside the norm. We don't usually have this straight train up to the sky, right? So keep that in mind. Man Solo exited out of VXX in half position EPC. Okay. I kept half EPC because it has earnings next week and the stock seems moving on rumor. I'll definitely exit completely before earnings day. Okay, very good. Man Solo says, after having been through Greg's training, I strongly recommend them. Oh, thank you, Man Solo. I appreciate that. We're not even done, though. We still have a couple lessons left. Man Solo's been busy, so thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you, Man Solo. Dirk says, do you also have a buy and hold portfolio? Do you have other rules, signals, rules for this one? You know, I don't have a buy and hold portfolio, Dirk, but I was discussing this with Kurt last night, actually. And, you know, do I think it's good to have a long-term portfolio? Sure, absolutely. I would trade it a little differently than I trade here. In my normal trading, I like to, you know, I phase out, I respect the 70 RSI, ATR channels, all that kind of stuff. If I were to have a very, very long-term trading strategy, it would most likely revolve around the indexes like the SPY or the Qs or some major big stocks like Apple, so forth. But, you know, my entries would be similar. My entries would be an under 30, over 30 kind of situation, or an under the 200 back over, and then use the 200-day moving average. Just a long-term mechanical approach. Stay in it as long as it's over the 200, get out when it's under. I mean, if you would have used this, you would have bought it back here on June, and look at this. Now, being able to hold all the way through this, I mean, fantastic, right? But you using this approach as well, I mean, the approach let you have this huge move by not, you know, not worrying about the 70 RSI or price action. But, you know, if it pulls back, you might give up a lot of it. But that's how I would trade if I had a long-term account. I would trade the indexes off the 200. I would use some different type of moving averages, and I would trade them completely mechanically based off, you know, the moving averages or the above, below the 200-day or the 250-day, because they all back test well. Does that make sense, Dirk? Bing, he says, WBA is interesting. I have monitor for a few days now, waiting for it to cross 30 RSI. It looks similar to CARA, where it hovers around 30 RSI for a few days before taking off. Yeah, the 30 RSI is a good filter because now we're under the 30 RSI. I would minimum want to see this go above the 30 RSI before I would get interested, because that 30 RSI is now resistance above it. There's buyers that come in at the 30 RSI, but if even with all those buyers, if it's strong, if it's weak enough to close under 30, that's not a good sign. I want to see it minimum close above. Murat says, I still think there is some room to go for the S&P since almost 20% of the S&P is FANG and Microsoft. It has managed to reach these levels mostly because of these guys. That is true. 100% true. Murat says, once the smaller companies in the S&P joins, the party will go real crazy. I agree. I agree. If they do. Yep, for sure. Mount Doji and Christopher, are you still in Disney or did you get out yesterday? Mert says, Greg, maybe you should start screening smaller caps as well. You know, it's probably not a bad idea, Mert, at all, but one of the ways that I view trading is I want to trade stocks that I know that are strong and that I'm familiar with. It just gives me a little bit more confidence to take the trades, makes me feel better about the trades compared to buying, some company I've really never heard of. And, I've mentioned this before, but in my opinion, the technicals that I use work well because they're stocks that are widely followed. And in my opinion, technicals are kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If a lot of people are watching Apple and it gets to the 200-day, they're like, hey, everybody, Apple's at the 200-day. But if it's on a smaller stock, people maybe still watch it, but not quite the followship as these large caps have. And again, I like to invest in stocks that I know the names of. I know what they do. I understand the business model. Christopher bailed. Okay. We'll take Chris off right there. Yeah, that was a mistake yesterday that I made for sure. Makes more sense. I didn't really quite know I was sick. Now looking back at it, I could tell I was, and I just lost track of time. I think that's the first time I've done this in this podcast over the year. So we have earnings season coming upon us. That's going to be interesting as well. Oh, we were so close to that last profit target there on utilities, but okay. Mount Solo says, Greg, thoughts on CSFL? While this looks like strong price action, I usually ignore such ones because I feel risk to reward isn't as good due to the strong move. I am probably wrong. It is a very strong move, but honestly, it's exactly how I feel about it as well, Mount Solo. We did have a big day. We're at a 45.14 RSI. We know the 50 RSI up here is going to be lurking for sure. Doesn't mean it has to reject it, but you do have to you do have to think about it. And you did have such a big move here. Steve has mentioned many times that if he buys something near the 200, he wants to buy it close to the 200. It's getting pretty close to what his expected move would be in the first place going into the trade, right? So if it's almost to where his expected move would be, he'd probably be less likely to take it because the risk to reward, look, even if you say, okay, I think it's going to go through the 50 RSI, which of course you don't know. But even if you said, okay, get up to the 50-day moving average, well, your risk to reward is still about 1-to-1, right? From here to here, back down there is about 2.8%. Up to the 50 is 2.99. So it's just barely over 1-to-1 if it gets there. Now, on the bright side, it's been a long time since this baby has closed over the 10-day. See, we closed over the 10-day and we've been down. don't know if you guys can hear me. I think I lost my connection. Can you guys hear me still? Huh. I think I lost my connection, everyone, so I apologize for that. And oh, now you can. Okay. Okay. Okay, good. So we are still here. That was weird. We're back. Okay, good. So now I forgot what I was talking about. Mert says, just to get people excited, the sell-side analysts are adjusting their estimates a bit lower so that it gets beaten with earnings. Ah, yeah. Very small, better than expected earnings creates huge swings. It's true. Okay. Oh, I was looking at CFFL. So, possibility here we have a higher low on the monthly, but that seems a ways away. On the weekly, we had a V1, but we had a V1 on big downs, big day up. But yeah, I would probably not get involved with CFFL. Oh, was that long ago about the 10-day? Yeah, so look, we lost the 10-day moving average. We've been under the 10-day for a long time. So it did close above the 10-day today. That's good. I mean, whenever you're under a moving average for a long time and it finally goes back up, it shows that something has changed, right? And this has changed, but part of my 3 requirements is you have to make sure you have a good risk to reward ratio based upon some legitimate kind of potential resistance above you and support below you. So, we're at a 45 RSI, we have the 20, we have the 100-day moving average. The risk to reward, in my opinion, does not make sense to me here. He says, Murat, I still use those old-fashioned 4G devices for connection, so I do lose the connection sometimes. All right. Well, listen, if you have any final questions, please let me know. And I do want to say that I do appreciate everybody coming today. Really nice to have you guys here and girls, and always look forward to speaking with you. And I think we have a great group. I think I'm having problems with my connection here. Okay, so listen, everybody. Thanks for coming. 2 things before I go. 1, please make sure you go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just a smile or a wave or say hello or be pleasant really could influence their day. Just the smallest little thing could influence their day in a really nice big way. So always keep that in mind. Try to make that a habit of doing something. And then also on the way out, if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, I really would appreciate that as well. So, all right. Well, I think I'm going to go take Katie on about a 10-minute walk and then go to bed. Hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow. So anyway, thanks again. And I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer on the way out, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow on Friday. So take care, everybody. Appreciate you spending your time here. Bye-bye now. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.